The difference between Michael Jordan's greatness and LeBron James' greatness. I'm Tony. Welcome back to Streetball Strategy.
Sharp, greatness like a dagger. Braun steady climb. Wait, he never stagger. Peaks or the valleys, whose throne do you claim? Different roads to royalty, still the same game.
Today, I am entering murky and dangerous waters. The whole Jordan-LeBron debate. The reason I say it's murky and dangerous is because regardless of a fan you are, if you're a LeBron guy or Jordan guy, many fans take it to an extreme. So if you disagree with someone about either side, the person that you disagree with, they are evil, they're terrible, they're a monster, they're the enemy. Usually the fans that bring this up and the fans that politic for one player versus the other, they're usually the players that they want the fight, right? They want the argument because they want the drama, because drama is interesting to them. To me, it's not. I hate the drama. The only drama I get into on this channel is saying that the NBA players are overpaid. But I say that because I believe it, and I believe it because the more they get paid, the more I have to pay to go to games, to watch games, to buy concessions at games. Because it affects my pocketbook, the more they get paid. That's why I believe that they are overpaid, and that's why I fully jump into that drama. But when it comes to a matter of subjectiveness and opinion, like who's your favorite player, I don't care. I don't want any drama. So let's get rid of the drama right now. Okay, here's the deal. This is opinion video. It's just what I think. What I'm doing is just expressing to you my opinions and why I have them. What I'm not doing is, I'm not saying that you're wrong if you disagree with me. I'm not saying that I'm right because it's just an opinion. And I'm also not trying to convince you to leave your position and agree with me. I'm also not saying if you don't do that, you're evil and you're the enemy. Also, I'm a Michael Jordan guy, right? He's my favorite in this debate. But I'm nowhere near a LeBron hater, which means when I speak about LeBron or even speaking about Jordan, I am in no way trying to put down LeBron, disrespect LeBron, take anything away from LeBron. I'm not going to make fun of him. I'm not going to call him names. Nothing like that. I respect and appreciate LeBron. I just prefer Michael Jordan. That being said, let's get into it and get into why I prefer Michael Jordan's greatness over LeBron's greatness. Now, be aware, I'm not saying who's better. I'm not even saying who's best. It's not that kind of comparison. I'm just comparing the way I think Michael Jordan was great to the way that LeBron is also great. Yes, Michael Jordan is of my generation. I grew up building my game using the same sort of mindset that Michael Jordan had. He's not even my favorite player in general. In the narrow LeBron-Jordan debate, Michael Jordan is my favorite because I identify with him more, his greatness more, the way he approached his greatness as opposed to the way LeBron has approached his. What I mean for Jordan is, Jordan, once he broke through, got past my Detroit Pistons, he's reaching his prime and they're aging out. Once he got to his peak in his prime and won that first three-peat, he dominated the league at that point. There was no one close to him. There was no one close to the Bulls throughout that entire first three-peat. Now, let's make this clear up front. Both Jordan and LeBron are both innovators. They are both revolutionary kinds of players. They are the first of their kinds of players. And when you're the first at something, and you also happen to be the best or one of the best to ever do that thing, that's like an immense accomplishment and responsibility. So when I say that about Jordan, what I mean is Jordan was the first player we had ever seen who was the most talented, far and away, which is not his fault, by the way. People saying, oh, Jordan played against plumbers. Just like it's not LeBron's fault the competition that he played against, not Jordan's either, right? Neither one's, responsible for the competition that was around in their playing days. But Michael Jordan, by far, the most talented. But what we never saw before is he was the most talented, but he also worked the hardest, which you got him the dominating success that he did. His career path for greatness was like, okay, get through the 80s, get to the 90s, get Phil Jackson and Scottie Pippen, dominate the league, retire, come back, get another three-peat, still the most talented, still works the hardest, still has the most success, the most dominance for another three-peat, and then goes away again. That's Jordan's greatness. I just happen to prefer that because I was the same kind of, like my career on the basketball court, even though it was only ever recreational, took that same kind of path. It took me a long time to reach my peak in my prime. But by the time I got there, because I went so hard when I got to my peak in my prime, it was very short-lived, and then I fell off because I drove my body into the ground. So because I did it that way, I relate to Michael Jordan because his whole philosophy, when we're in the 90s and there's no internet and all we can do is like read and watch on TV, the information that why Michael Jordan is as good as he is. And the main piece of information is he outworks everybody. He's the hardest practicer. Well, okay, we've never seen him, a player like that, do those kind of things and have that kind of success before. So yeah, me in the 90s, I just went as hard as I could, especially in practice, because that's what Michael Jordan did. For me, it ended up being like, finally getting to my peak. And then by the time I got there, my body was pretty much riddled with arthritis and I immediately fell off. Like with LeBron, he's the opposite, right? He was great out of high school, one of the highest impact players in the NBA the day he stepped in, and his game only elevated and stayed that way throughout his career. I can't relate to that. I don't have that sustained greatness. And that's the primary point and reason why because I can identify with Michael's career and the approach that he took, that greatness appeals more to me than LeBron's greatness. That being said, let's talk about LeBron's greatness. Like I said, LeBron James as well, innovator, revolutionary, right? He's the first one of his kind. We've never seen what he's done before. He came out of high school with crazy over-the-top kind of like expectations, and he lived up to them. Never saw that before. Someone comes straight out of high school, crazy high expectations, and actually live up to it. And then to sustain that pretty much throughout his whole entire career for over 22 years? Never saw that before. He's an innovator, a revolutionary player as well. And like I said, I'm older than LeBron. For him to be playing the game for as long as he has, at the level that he has, and continues to this day to play at that super high level at his age, I'm jealous of. I'm happy for him. I'm also jealous that he can do that. My career was up and, it took forever to get there and then it was done immediately. LeBron is just like forever, just greatness over such a long, sustained period of time. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing bad about that. Why would there be the whole longevity thing? Like, oh, LeBron, he's only considered so good because of his longevity. Well, whatever. Like, that longevity is great. Like, I don't have anything bad or negative to say about it. Like, he puts up the stats because of his longevity, but what's wrong with that? Just like Jordan, LeBron has the negative stereotypes you can say about him. You can say he flopped. You can say, all the finals losses. You can say he collapsed against San Antonio. Maybe even you could throw in the decision, I guess. Michael Jordan had like his whole gambling thing that was like he was notorious for. And, he was a jerk as a teammate, especially in like the first half of his career. They both have their foibles. It's just like, well, what do you prefer? Like, for me, I prefer the process, the pitch of Michael Jordan's greatness. With LeBron, it's like so over the top extraordinary. It's so unrelatable to me that, I'm much more in league with the player that I can relate to more. And that's not to say anything bad about LeBron or take anything away from him. I'm glad that the fans that love him. And I don't have anything bad to say about them. And I don't want to you say like, oh, how could you like LeBron when Michael Jordan exists? You know, that's crazy. I would never go that route. If you prefer LeBron's career and his greatness and the trajectory that his career has taken, I don't blame you. If your opinion is like, wow, LeBron, you know, he was great from the beginning and only got greater and sustained it for over 20 years. Obviously, because of that, he has to be the best in history. Notice I'm not using GOAT because I hate the term GOAT. But if that's why you believe he's the best, then I don't blame you. If you're like, yeah, Jordan was great with his street beats and all, but have you seen what LeBron's done for how long he's done it? Because, you know, to me, that means he's the best. If that's your stance and your opinion, then I don't blame you at all for feeling that way. I have no problem with it whatsoever. LeBron is great. It's undeniable. He's had an amazing career. Who knows, you know, when we'll see another player in the future have another career the same way LeBron has had. Like I said, I'm not really a hater, but I'm certainly not a LeBron hater, especially the way he plays. I'm not a fan of his personality, like the way he presents himself in public to the media. Don't like that. But it's easy for me to separate, you know, his personality to his game, the way he plays. Have nothing but respect for that. The whole flapping thing, I don't know. Who cares? I don't care. What I care about is when he plays great, which he does most of the time, I appreciate it and I respect it. I'm glad that he has fans, diehard fans that are like, yes, you know, that's the way you be a NBA all-timer, right? I'm glad that those fans exist and they have a player like that they really enjoy and are locked into. It's just a selfish thing for me that I can relate to Jordan, so Jordan just happens to be my favorite. Speaking of me being selfish, do you know how you can tell that I'm pretty objective about this whole LeBron-Jordan debate? It's because I've never really had, you know, it's not like I have a favorite team or a favorite player, right? I'm not in love with a certain player or a certain team. I love the game and the sport of basketball. It just so happens that Jordan came along the right place, right time for me in my life, and I was fortunate that he had the success that he'd had when he had it. He was the best talented, most hardworking, most successful player when I'm starting my basketball career. Just the right time, right place for me. The reason I say I'm coming from a selfish perspective in a way is because it's the same reason like when Tom Brady was winning Super Bowls. I just wanted him to keep winning Super Bowls. I wanted Kansas City to win the 2025 Super Bowl because I wanted a three-peat. Like, I get the whole, like, you're a bad person if you want the repeat champion to win over and over again. You're supposed to root for the underdog. It's not like I'm trying to root against the underdog. For me, the selfish part comes in, but like, I want to be able to say, I watched Tom Brady play. He's probably the best quarterback in NFL history. I got to watch him play. He played during my lifetime. You know, I wanted to see a three-peat in the Super Bowl because it's never happened before. I wanted to be able to say, I saw a three-peat happen in the Super Bowl during my lifetime. For selfish reasons. Along those same reasons, I would be ecstatic if another player came along during my lifetime who was far and away, obviously better than Michael Jordan. I would love that. That would be amazing for me. So it's not like, oh, Jordan's the best and he'll always be the best no matter what. And you're trying to compare LeBron to Jordan. Are you crazy? No, not like that at all. I wish I would be completely happy if there was some competitor during my lifetime who was just obvious. It's like, oh, if that fictionary future player, if his team ever met Jordan and the Bulls in their prime, the Bulls are obviously losing to that fictitious player. That would be amazing. I would be so happy for that. It's not, part of me would be sad because like, oh, there is a player better than Jordan. Like, yes, there would be a part of me that would be sad initially, but I would then be completely ecstatic and excited, like, oh my God, I get to see an even better player. You know, one that I can also relate to, one that plays, you know, a more relatable style of basketball to me than LeBron does to me. And he's clear in a way better than Michael Jordan. That would be amazing. That's like one of the ways you can tell, like, I'm objective about this. I prefer Jordan, but that's not to take anything away from LeBron. Both great, just different ways of greatness. I just happen to prefer Michael's greatness. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, found it interesting, maybe I made some interesting points or had some interesting thoughts that you liked, then great, then subscribe to the channel. But then, unfortunately, it brings me to the comment section, which is like, okay, we get it. You're either a LeBron fan or a Jordan fan. If you are, then the other one is evil and the enemy, and so is their fans. I get it. And I want to know what you think in terms of this comparison of greatness. But here's the thing. Are you able to disagree with me or other commenters without insulting them? Because like I said, I didn't take any shots at LeBron. Didn't call him names, didn't put him down, didn't make fun of him in any way, shape, or form, right? I'm not trying to convince you to agree with me. I'm not trying to change your mind and convince you that you should leave LeBron and come to the Jordan side. And if you don't, you're evil and you're the enemy now. Usually when it comes to the Jordan-LeBron debate, it's immediate insults. A lot of times the insults, you don't even say you disagree. You demonstrate that you disagree with whatever thought a person has by insulting them. You don't say I disagree, and you usually don't even say here's why I disagree. You just insult them and call them names and peace out. Like, oh, hide behind the keyboard. So the question is, down in this comment section, can you disagree with me or whoever else and do it without the insults? I'm sure the insults are going to come, but I still want to hear what you have to say. The only problems I have is when you tell me I'm wrong, it's just an opinion, you try to get me to agree with you, or you insult me. Other than that, please disagree with me. It's perfectly fine. But the problem with the insults is when you insult somebody, you throw insults out, that immediately signifies you're irrational. Because in this entire video, I was completely rational. Didn't take any shots, didn't call any names, didn't make fun of anybody. I didn't insult anybody at any point for any reason in any way. So if you comment and there's an insult in your comment, that signifies that from my rational, calm video, suddenly you're throwing out insults and being irrational. So if you're being irrational, yeah, I'm still going to leave the comment, but like, it holds no emotional value and weight for me. Because if you're irrational from a completely rational video, why should anyone care what you have to say? Because you're just a troll looking for drama and looking for fights. And that's not what this video is about at all. It's just to share my perspective and say, hey, both are great, but here's the differences in the greatness. So let us know down in the comments what you think. As always, like, share, comment on this video like I said. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever any video goes live on this channel. And until then, see you guys next week.
Do you love the flame, flash fierce and rare, or a heat that simmers, constant everywhere? Two paths to live, on the courts they shine, legacy lines redrawn in overtime divine.